Hi, Tatum. Welcome to the Athlete's Pursuit of Excellence training vlog number 10. As usual, the vlog would be divided into 6 parts, which will help you be the best athlete you can possibly be. Just before I start, if you're interested, I now offer some training service on my Patreon. The link is just in my bio. So to return in the vlog, in the first part, we will analyze my physical training. I will explain how I have adjusted my training with the holidays and show you one of my favorite core exercises. Then we're going to talk about mental training. This week, I'm going to show you how to improve your inner dialogue to improve your performance. After that, I'm going to share you the book of the week and the album that I listen to the most on the bike. And I will finish the blog by answering your question. This week, we'll talk about nutrition on the bike. We'll talk about recovery, and we'll also talk about Zwift training. So let's go. We start right away. So for physical training this week, we will analyze 1 week and a half to see how I manage the training between in the holidays. So we're going to start the analysis on December 19. So to start, because I knew that my volume and the intensity of my training would be affected during the holiday, I had the objective of making a good training block, which kind of simulated a stage race. So a mixture of volume and intensity, so that on December 24, I could take like 4 days of recovery without a precise objective or a specific constraint. So I would simulate a bit like I do after a race. So I started the block with a 59K on the fat bike tempo. And my goal was to keep my heart rate between 140 and 150 BPM. So more precisely, I made sure to keep a good tempo in the more rolling portion, because like you know, if you do fat bike, there's a lot of time without pedaling where our heart rate very decreased. So Friday, I simulated a training load similar to a race on Zwift. So the first 2 hours, I rode good tempo between 225 and 275 watts. Then I did 1 hour race where the objective was really to race economically and wait for the final sprint. Then after that, I did a 40-minute criterium. In this race, I really raced intensely. I was attacking regularly because I knew it was the last effort of the day. Saturday, I did specific maximal effort training. So we'll have a look at this training. So the workout, I have it just here. So I started by 10-minute easy spin, then 3-minute build up by 30 seconds until I reach 9 out of 10 max effort. Then 2 to 3 minute relax. Then I did 3 times 1 minute. The start was at 80 RPM. So the objective here over the 1 minute was to increase the RPM on the same starting speed up to a maximum RPM for the last 10 seconds. I had the 3-minute rest between each minute. After that, I did 5 times 3 to 5 seconds all out with a start at 90 RPM and 3 minutes between each sprint. The objective here was really to explode and develop as much power as possible on the first pedal stroke. After that, I did 3 times 5 seconds all out with a start at 70 RPM with 3 minutes between each sprint. Again, the objective was really to explode and develop as much power as possible on the first pedal stroke. And finally, I did 3 times 5 seconds all out with a start at 100 RPM with 3 minutes between each interval. So yeah, just by the way, if you're interested, this workout is one of the 12 workouts of the month that I offer in my Patreon. So you can go check it out. And finally, I finished the training block with 2 long rides of 5 hours and 6 hours. The last one was on a fat bike, probably one of my favorite rides. On the 68 kilometer of fat bike, there's only maybe 3K of road. All the rest is connected by a hiking and mountain bike trail. Is just incredible. So here, as you see, on the 24th, 25th, the 26th, and the 27th, it was kind of 3 days. So I took the opportunity here to relax and do winter activity with my family and friends. So on the 28th, I resumed training with the 89 kilometer workout on Zwift. which included 2 times 20 minutes build up. So I started at 300 watts and I finished at 430 watts on those build ups. Saturday I did a TT workout, so to regain my leg speed after the 3 days. So I did 8 times 2 minutes. The 2 minutes was divided into small intervals. So the first 10 seconds was a max sprint, but seated. After that, it was 10-second recovery. After that, it was 10-second sprint, 20-second recovery, 40-second hard. That would have mean 400 plus watts for me. Then 15-second recovery, and then I finish it with a 15-second sprint. Here, like I said, I made sure to always stay seated and really use leg speed to develop and increase power. So I also made sure to include some explosiveness session and a core session before the end of the week. So now to transition, we are going to look at the exercise of the week, and this week it's a core exercise. So I have it right here. Yeah. So the exercise is a side plank with a crunch and a leg lift. So the goal here is vary for our feet, knees, and shoulder and head to really stay like in a straight line. So it's really important when you do this exercise to engage your abs, your glutes, and also not to forget to breathe. So now let's go back to the training. So in the end, for the week before the holidays, it gives me a total time of 20 hours and 25 minutes, and a training load of about 827 TSS. And for the Christmas week, it gives me a total time of 18 hours and 44 minutes with a training load of 625 TSS. So now let's go to the mental training. This week we're going to talk about inner dialogue, why I think you should pay attention to it and how you can improve it. So I will read you the text, and I encourage you to follow with me and take notes. So yeah, I start. Inner dialogue. Your internal dialogue immensely influences your performance in any situation. Right when you notice that a narrative is regularly affecting the way you perceive yourself and your ability to produce healthy mindset, you must disengage from it. There is no need to ask if the narrative is true. There is only a need to determine if the thoughts that compose it are serving you positively. If they are not helping you, then let them go. So here's some practice to increase beneficial thinking dialogue. So first practice, nurture positive self-talk. Each time you think or act optimally, say to yourself, that's like me. It will reinforce the connection between you and excellence. Second practice, remember and relive elevate thoughts and action to positively build your intensity. Third practice, cultivate supportive self-talk. Nurture belief in saying that gets you in a motivated and productive state of being. Because a vision guided by an ambition goal that is clearly translated in the process is a tremendously important attribute of the optimal performer. There's a crucial distinction to be made between unpurposely daydreaming and productively believing in your power of achievement. Fourth practice, acknowledge your worth. Treat and talk to yourself like you would your most honored guest. Don't talk or do something to yourself that you wouldn't do to someone else. So here's some practice to decrease self-sabotage dialogue. So first practice, identify negative self-talk. When you are letting useless and toxic thought loop occupy your mind, like blaming, criticizing, complaining, without intervention, you are actively rewriting it negatively. Decrease self-criticism. An augmentation of harshness with yourself results in a greater resistance to go out of your comfort zone. To beat yourself over with a constant rehearsal of your wrong diminish your ability to make efforts and take on new challenges. Realize that a high self-judgment and self-criticism are equal to a decrease of self-trust, resulting in an unwillingness to try and thus risk defeat. Use your mistake only to find solution. Once you have established the solution, clear your mind from the error. To repeat, once went wrong, only shape your mind in a way that makes it easier for you to repeat the mistake. So how to construct your optimal mantra? Use a mantra to reorient it a non-optimal state of mind towards a more serving one for the situation. With repetition, attach the desired emotion to a mantra so the words or phrases in question make you think and be in a certain way. This will allow you to have the appropriate and useful emotion at hand in competition. So here's two relevant exercises. First, have a specific statement to enhance self-image and use the narrative as an identity building practice. Second, have a specific statement to increase your focus and confidence in performance. So a little bit PS here before we finish. Prioritize interrogative mantra over a declarative one. Replace declarative self-talk, I am, by interrogative self-talk, am I, to create fluency in the mind. Actively searching for a positive answer will help construct and reinforce the belief you are seeking to anchor in your mind. So now let's go to the book of the week. This week is Rafael Nadal biography, Rafa. So in this book, we really get a really great insight into what it takes mentally to be the best player in the world. As you may know, tennis is one of the most mentally demanding sports, and in this book, Rafael Nadal talks about it a lot. He notably explains us how he used like a pre-match ritual to make sure he is in the right frame of mind at the start of each match. The point I really find the most interesting is that Rafael Nadal is really insecure and still doubt his skill a lot. So he explained us why, according to him, like his humility is really essential to his constant evolution, and how he managed to be like confident despite his like constant self-doubt. Honestly, if you are interested in understanding what it takes mentally to really reach the highest level of your sport, I really suggest this book. So it's Rafa by Rafael Nadal. So the album I listened the most during my training this week is the album by Atmosphere, God Loves Ugly. So Atmosphere is a Minneapolis rap group composed of Slug and Ant. Slug is the rapper and Ant is the composer. So I really love this album. Slug's raps about things that you can really easily relate and identify with. With Ant's beats and the aggressive emotional rap of Slugs, the song really almost feel like a rap battle. It's just amazing. Honestly, if you are interested in discovering a classic hip-hop underground album, I really suggest you listen to this album. So that's pretty much it for this album. I really suggest it. So now let's go to the question of the week. So first question, the Lonely Skyer asked me, what is the rate calorie eat / calorie spend for each training target? Okay, depending on the intensity of the training and your weight, the number of calories spent during a workout are quite variable. Personally, at 71 kg, I spend between 360, 350 calories. And at really high intensity, I will spend like 950 calories. It really depends on the intensity. My trick is really to eat like every 30 minutes. So if the intensity is moderate, I will eat like 2 bars per hour. So about 400 calories. But if the intensity is really high, I will make sure to eat food that are like really high in calories, but really easy to digest. So I will put like a sweet drink in my bottle, and I will eat a mixture of like gels and bar. Try to get like closer to 600 calories by hour. But I mean, it's almost certain that after an instant training, you're going to have a calorie deficit, which is why we really need to make sure to eat as soon as possible after your workout. So second question, C. Bergeron asked me, gym training for the legs. That's easy. I mean, in the program, in my Patreon, I offer several exercises in stability, explosiveness, and power for the legs. So if that interests you, you know what to do. Otherwise, make sure to subscribe, because I'm going to make sure to present a strength exercise each week in the future vlogs. Third question, Pascal Leblanc asked me if Zwift is a good tool, training tool. Yeah, I think so. For me, it's a really, really great way to stay motivated during the winter. Having the opportunity to ride with other people is a really nice way to challenge myself, and it's much less boring than riding in front of a wall. However, we really, really have to remember that Zwift is an incomplete training tool, and that we absolutely have to go outside if we don't want to lose our technical and our tactical skills. So, last question, Matteo asked me your tip for a good recovery. Okay, firstly, it is to really, really make sure not to neglect and to be extremely disciplined on the essential, which is to sleep well and eat well. After that, I think adding a routine of breathing, stretching, mobility, foam roller can be very, very useful for muscle relaxation and injury prevention. And after that, you can always experiment with ice bath, compression legs, sauna. There's so much, but I would tell you that having the discipline to like really do the first sprint regularly, and discipline is a really, really good start. So yeah, that's about it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you learned something that will help you in your development. I hope to see you next week in vlog 11. Meanwhile, I wish you a really, really good training. So bye bye. See you next week.